Hey, Jeff Justice here with Jeff Justice Seminars for Court Reporters. I want to thank you so much for deciding to choose us to get your online CEUs with. We promise not to disappoint you. We provide laugh-packed, content-rich seminars so that you can get your CEUs from the comfort of your own home or office. So basically, you're going to watch the videos as you do, print out the PDFs for the quizzes, answer the questions as you go along. At the end of the whole seminar, so if you're taking a 10-hour seminar after you finish all the sections, email me all of your answers. I will grade them and get you back your letter of completion for your state, and if you're an RPR, the proper forms for NCRA. So get ready to laugh and learn with Jeff Justice Seminars for Court Reporters. All right, so I know as court reporters you are organized, but by the end of Pam's program now, you will be super organized, and as we learned in the last session, there's always room for improvement. So, nice big round of applause for Pam Coulter with the super organized reporter.
So, let's talk about some organization. If you look in your little pamphlet, that's the one with all the words, the one that's mine, there's a little page that says the super organized court reporter on the back of another page. And the next page has a job detail sheet. It looks like this. The camera looks like this. This is what I use personally to keep up with what I'm taking. I'm sorry, I know this doesn't apply to you officials, unless you're taking overflow depot jobs. But this is just kind of how I keep up with things. I just, what these little things mean across the top is, since I work for so many firms, I have an abbreviation for the firms. So I put the firm name over to the left so I know who I took the job with. And then the date of the job, a brief style, Smith v. Jones, something brief. The job number for the company that I'm working for. The abbreviation of the witness's name, like P. Smith. And then the pages is for when I'm finished with the job. The location where I am, I usually just put like what street I'm on or what part of town. And then P is for how much I paid for parking. T is if I had to pay tolls. M is for miles from my house and back. And then the SP is for Scopus and Proofer. And that's the initials for who I sent it to if I did. Right now I have no Proofer. And Scopus I do all on my own, which is why the 30-40 day turnaround, because I don't have any backup. Because two of my people are getting ready for the test. And one broke her arm in a car wreck, and so she can't do anything right now. And then the other one disappeared. We sure don't have that happen too. You know, the disappearing Scopus. I'm on ProCat. It's hard to find good Scopus, for one thing, but especially hard to find them on ProCat. So I usually end up training my own, usually students in lower speeds, and then get them through so that they're ready, when they get out, they're ready to rock and roll. But I haven't found anybody. Yes, sir.
I remember being on the NCRA website one time, and they've got a list of people.
They do. The NCRA site has a list of scopers.
Divided into what they scope with.
Right. There's also, that's right, and then the different softwares have lists, like ProCat has a list on their thing, but they're all slammed. They're either slammed or they're horrible. So. Yeah, there's no in between. There's also, just in case y'all didn't know, there are pages on Facebook for reporters where there's bad Scopus listed, or there's somebody's experience with the Scopus. Because when we're looking for Scopus, we're all looking for something different, right? I mean, if they make a few mistakes, I'm okay with that as long as they communicate with me and they're doing the things that are necessary to help me make sure and get my stuff out. But when they don't communicate with me, that's like my number one pet peeve, and I kind of like ditch them after that, because a few mistakes are fine. I just want somebody who doesn't take my words out.
No, I do everything myself.
I started doing that too.
I'd rather do it right the first time.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes it took me longer to go through this. Sometimes I don't like to be edited. You're right, but sometimes the scoper would like take my stuff out, and I'm like. Because on my software, I don't know about your software, but on my software, when I send it to a Scopus, I have it set where when they send the file back to me, anything they change comes back in a different color on my computer so I can see what they changed. And I'd be going looking at my notes going, wait, I had that. Why did you take that out? And I go back and listen, and I'm like, yeah, what the heck? So I finally just gave up and decided to do my own stuff. So that's partly why it takes me longer, too, to get things out. But this is just kind of how I keep up with everything, and I know what I've got out. And then when I usually, right where I put the witness's name up above it, I'll kind of put a rough how many pages it is, so I know how many pages I have out at any given time. And as you can see on my screen, these are the jobs, these little purple ones. These are the jobs that I have out at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 jobs out at the moment. Thank the Lord, that's all I have out. But I kind of keep them in the order that they're due. I just kind of move them up to the order. And the reason I designed this kind of the way I did on this particular program, I have a friend, my desktop is pretty organized, but when you look at her desktop, you can't see anything. There's so many things. It was just such a mess, and I'm like, girl, I need to teach you how to get this organized. So that's why I sort of designed this program, because yeah, hers is a mess and you can't. I was like, how do you even find anything? You'd have to look forever to find it. So I kind of keep my stuff all kind of together. Like I have ProCat just put this on here for me. I've got a new machine, so this is the installers for my machine. I always keep it back up. I also keep everything on SD cards. I don't know if y'all are using SD cards, but I usually keep about 4 of these or 5 of these in my bag. And I have 16 gig and 32 gig, and I keep them on here. Now I'll tell you, the tech support guys last week at my seminar said they hate these. They said these go out sometimes. I've never had an issue. I've been doing it this way for about 10 years, but they told me they prefer thumb drives. Well, I've had thumb drives go out like a lot, and I have hard drives at home. I have 2 external hard drives, and I will back things off on there too, but I use this to transfer back and forth. Before I leave a job, every single time, I back the job off to my desktop, and then I back it off onto an SD card. Why do I do that?
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and I've had friends get into wrecks, and their computer gets smashed or it bounces around. I actually was almost in a wreck about 2 years ago. Taking car accident jobs, I always look behind me all the time. I'm always paying, and I drive a little bitty Mini Coupe, so I'm always worried about getting rear-ended and being squashed. So I'm driving down 45, the infamous freeway, and this guy he's on his phone. And guys on the phone make me very nervous. I'm sorry guys, but it just does. Women are used to doing multiple things. Yes, sir.
Women on phone make me nervous.
But we're used to multitasking. And so, and court men are used to multitasking. I'll give you credit there. But other than not court reporters, I will trust them on the phone in the car. And this guy was behind me in a big pickup truck, and I'm in my little Mini Coupe. And traffic is stopping at a dead stop. And I'm going, he is not looking, because there was no brake lights coming on, nothing, and I'm like freaking out. And so I'm watching behind me and watching in front of me and watching behind me, and I'm thinking, he's not going to stop. And so I quickly moved, I was in the right lane, and I quickly moved over to the shoulder. And it's a good thing I did, because he came within an inch of hitting the car in front of me. So I would have been squashed. But in the meantime, my machine is going like this in the trunk. And I'm like, oh my God. So I get out and look at my machine, and it broke my LCD screen. And from bouncing around, because it was just such a jerky, everything was jerky, it was a crazy thing. And so thank God I had insurance. I highly recommend you have insurance. I have mine through NCRA's program. It's like $250 a year for $15,000 in coverage. And there was no questions asked. I didn't have to pay anything. They just said what happened, and I said, I actually wasn't in the wreck, but this is what happened. And they're like, no problem. Sent me a check for $1,500, just like that. And it actually happened to me a couple of weeks. I had to get a new machine about 3 weeks ago. I don't know what happened to my machine was acting funky when I came back from the break, and everything was stacking, and I'm like, what the heck? And I didn't think anything about it. I thought, okay, I just need to take it over to Effort and get it checked out. And I'm not really thinking about it, and I take it over there, and he said, somebody knocked this on the floor. Because when you flipped it over, the back was like, there was like things on the back with cracks in the thing. And I was like, yeah, nobody said a word to me. So I didn't know, I knew it happened that day, but I didn't know who did it. I mean, how are you going to prove anything? So I called the insurance company, same thing. They were like, no problem, I'll send you a check. I had a check in a week. And so I decided to go ahead and get a new machine.
What kind?
I have the Expression. Absolutely love it. It's so light. It's just amazing. I love it. I've been using it for a week and a half now, no stacking. It's awesome. It's a great machine. But they put all my little ProCat stuff on here, and then I have all of this backed off onto my hard drive, my external hard drive too. And then I usually back to my hard drive probably once a month, take everything off of here and back it off just to be safe. But every day I'm back into these, and I kind of alternate them. I have like 4 or 5, and I have them actually, they say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I try to keep them that way so that I use different ones so that if they burn out or something, everything's backed up.
Was it just unedited jobs?
Yes, unedited. The whole file, like these purple files, that's that's the audio. That's it for ProCut A. Everything comes in, so that's my audio and everything, all my steno and everything. It's the whole file. So that if I send it to my Scopus, I send it from here that way too. So I just back off the whole thing. And then I have, personal stuff on here, my signature for Yes Law, all those different things that you have to have. And I just kind of keep everything pulled over. Then, for example, I had a damaged SD card. It got bent. So I have a folder that's called SD Damaged Card, and I just moved everything over into this so I had it. And then I kind of do I have my Real Legal, my Yes Law, everything at the bottom where it's easy to get to. And then anything else I use. And it's a really good idea to keep other browsers on your computer. Because sometimes you get those weird viruses where they're trying to steal your data and they say, oh, it's ransomware, and they're like, oh, it's going to cost you $2,000 for me to go back in and get your stuff. It's all a lie. Just get out of it. Get out of your browser. Make sure you have another browser installed. I have Firefox, Google Chrome, and then I have just the regular, the Explorer. And then, so I have those 3 on here. So if one of them doesn't work, I just go into another one and sign in and use that one. And eventually the other one just kind of disappears, the ransomware, because they know you're not falling for it. So many people fall for that and just don't, because, you get those ones where they say, you need to call a Microsoft rep right now. How do they know? They're not into your computer. It's all a bunch of lies, so don't believe any of that stuff. Just get out and go into another browser. Then also, I work for a lot of people, like I said, so I have a worksheet folder. So inside my worksheet folder, I have files. There's all my 2017 paperwork is in this one file. And then I have a folder for every company that I work for, and this one, oops, wrong file, let me go to this one. That one got doubled up. Here it is. So in this one, I have a list of the companies that I work for, and I have their paperwork in that file, like their order form, their anything else that they send me, how they want their stuff done. It's all in that file, so that I can keep everybody straight. And then at the bottom, I have a generic order form that I created on someone's because there are some firms I work for that don't use order forms. And I think that is very important. And so even if they don't use it, I'm using it. So I have a generic one that I carry with me in case they don't have their own, and this is the one that I use and have them sign. So I carry that with me. Then my job detail sheet, so I can print it out whenever I need it. And then when I name files, like for example, this one happens to be Kim Tyndall. This is my invoice, so I give them the name, the job number, the name of the witness, the date I took it, so it's kind of a long strung out thing, so I can keep up, and then it says invoice at the end. And then I have a letter for Lockheed Trans. I have never sent out my own because I do my stuff through a firm, so I let them handle that, but we came up with the letter together, and I just kept it in here in case anybody wanted to see it. And then I have my rate sheets, which I will not be pulling up because I don't want that on video. But I do have my rate sheet. I have a new one that's just about going into effect next week. And then these are my personal bill pay charts so I can keep up with what's going on at home. I have a blank rate sheet. If anybody needs that, I have a blank one that somebody came up with. I think it was Karen Shavy. Nope, that's not blank. Oh yeah, it is blank. Okay. This was, Karen Shavy sent this out and said we could use her blank rate sheet. So I've got that if anybody wants to use it. And then my reporting invoice template, can't pull that up either because it's got prices on it, but I have my own invoice template, so when I send out my invoices, I'm going to give you a quick look. It's got everything broken down. I need to blank it out, but
your invoices to the firm?
Yes, this is my invoice to the firm. Everything it's got all my LLC information for where they need to send it. It's got the basic information for the job, and then everything is broken down.
I haven't heard orders.
This is how I send in my stuff. And then I've got 5%, if they don't pay me in 30 days, they have to pay 5%. So I haven't had a problem with that at all. But I have everything broken down, and I just created this on Microsoft. Then I keep the invoices here until I get paid, and then I slide the invoice up into the person's folder, so I know what's what. So, just so I can kind of keep up with things. But, and then I also, it's easier to do it this way, because then when they send me their information, some firms, like, especially the small ones, they forget to send me their order forms or maybe their exhibit index that they want me to send them with the exhibits. So this way I have all of their information in their folder, and if they forget to send it, I've got it. And I can just print it off. It just makes life easy. So this is just how I kind of keep up with everything. It's all in this one folder called Worksheets. And then when I finish a job, let's say, okay, I finished a job yesterday, so I finished it, and then I'm saving it as an ASCII. You know, Windows 10, things go everywhere. And so I want everything to go in one folder. So I have everything going into my ASCII folder. So these are my ASCIIs that I've turned in recently. So this is where I grab it to send it to the firm for the read and sign, for Real Legal or Yes Law or whatever, is I grab it from here. And I'm assuming most of y'all use Yes Law or Real Legal. What about officials? What do you guys do when you send a job to somebody with your signature? Are y'all using Yes Law or Real Legal, or are y'all doing Adobe something, or?
We do the e-signature, I'm sorry.
You do what?
No, go ahead. I didn't even know.
No, it's okay. He was asking what?
Oh, you can do it through the e-signature.
Is it Adobe?
Yes.
Well, Adobe. It's been so long. Yeah, it's been so long since I set it up.
But it's a program you guys use as officials.
Yes.
Okay.
But I
What about you? Anybody else? I forgot who else was an official. You're an official. So what did you?
I'm freelance.
But behind you. Sorry.
I do PDF.
You do PDF? Okay. Because I know some of the softwares now have a thing where you can actually do your signature in your software. I know ProCat has a thing like that where it's kind of like Yes Law, where I can go in and sign my transcript for those people who don't use either of those things. I can go in and actually sign it myself, and I can hit what they call batch print, and it'll print the deposition in full size, a manuscript, and then do a word index at the end. And then I can send that to one of the firms who doesn't use any of those things. I don't particularly like sending my jobs to someone who doesn't use a program, because I don't want somebody signing my signature because they're not supposed to. And there are still some people out there that are doing that, which is wrong. So I will usually sign my end page if they don't use any of that, and then scan it to them in blue ink. I don't know if any of y'all are doing that, but I do it in blue ink, and then scan it and send it to them. But this is where I grab things from. So I keep all my ASCIIs here. Now, I'm one of those people that likes to be like major organized with my transcript stuff. Major organized. So, my original files, these are the ones that are not done. When I start scoping a job, then I take the job and move it into my original file folder. So this file has all my original jobs for the year. They're all kept in here. And then, if we're having bad weather, I'm like so anal, I swear. When we're having bad weather and electricity's going off and on, I will this job gets moved as soon as I start to scope. It gets moved over here to original file. Then, if we're having bad weather, I back it up again, because I may be on like page 100 of 200 pages, and I don't want to lose any of that. So I'll back it up again and put it back here. So I know that is the newest one I'm working on, just so that I have it and it's safe and I know it's there. And then after the job goes to the people I'm working for, whoever that is, I take it from the ASCII folder and move it to the original ASCII folder. So this doesn't get totally full, because then you got to dig through all your stuff to find what you're looking for. So I try to keep this as small as possible with the least amount of stuff in there. You'll see all this federal pages, because people have been asking lately for my copies of my federal pages, so, and out-of-state pages. So that's what that is. Then when I was using Scopus, I had a file folder for each scopist, and I would move the file into there after I sent it to them, so I know who's got the job. And then when they send it back to me, I have one call back from Scopus, so I know that is the newest edited version, so I know that it's there. And then I have when I get it and I put it into my computer and I need to proof it, it moves over into the Pam needs to proof folder. It's sort of like my little production thing. And I know that sounds complicated, but that way I know who's got what I need to get done. Everything is just organized so that I can go from file to file and just move it as I need to. And then when the videographers give me their audios, I have a folder that says audio various.
You're awesome.
And it's got the date because they get, when they give it to you, it's got the date on it. So I put it in that folder. And then I have a folder, this is just my own folder. A bunch of reporters have given me their rates, which I cannot share here, I'm sorry. But this is just so I can kind of do a comparison, so I can talk in ranges, so I know what other people are doing. And then if I'm working on a case consistently, this happened to me, I was on this huge job, patent litigation, I get in there to go, and who knows what happened, but my dictionary for that job was gone. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So, you have to remain calm in those situations, right? So I calmly said, give me 5. And I was really early to that job, thank goodness. So I pull everything up and I think, okay, who was the last deposition I took in this case? And I asked the attorneys, what was the last one we did? And I went back and pulled that up and pulled that dictionary from there and put it back in my job dictionaries. Who knows what happened to that dictionary? It was a weird thing, but I went and pulled it back up. So now, when I'm working on big cases, the first thing I do after I've made a good dictionary, I go pull that sucker off and make a copy and put it in my dictionaries folder. And also a copy of my personal dictionaries in there too. I always keep my configuration files. You see that right there is my configuration files. That's for ProCat, that's like our page layouts and our token dictionaries, and our databases that has everybody's address and all that information. So that is that information. I back that up at least once a month. And if I make a bunch of changes, I'll back it up maybe every 2 weeks. And then my personal dictionary, I try to back that up weekly. And once I've backed it up again, I put it here. I move this one down into the dictionary folder so that I always have, like weekly, I have a new dictionary. Because you never know. I had a friend who lost her complete dictionary, her personal dictionary, and she had no backup. We looked everywhere for a backup. I was like, girl, what are you thinking? So she had to completely start over. And you all know what a pain that is.
I have a question with Snowgraph. They have that cloud, and everything that we do goes into that cloud, evidently, and paying.
If you're paying for it, yeah.
So,
some people don't use that.
So it's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would still, I don't know. I have a thing about the cloud. I'm always worried about the cloud.
I know a lot of people look at their dictionary average days.
I'm just anal about that. Since that happened to me, I've been so freaked out. I back up everything. And one day I got to a job and had the blue screen of death. So the other thing I do, and y'all really think I'm a nutcase, but I have a mirror backup of this computer at home. And that is the computer I use for the internet. I pretty much do not get on the internet with my work computer. If I have to send a job from this computer, I will send a job, but I don't go to Google and look up stuff on this computer and do stuff like that on this computer, because this is totally my work computer.
You use your phone.
Yeah, I can use my phone, exactly. So what I do at home, I have a mirror backup that is just in case something happens to this one, and I use that one for the internet. And what I do is, like, usually I get a new computer every 2 to 3 years. This one's actually 4 years old. It's been a great computer. And it's been fine, so I haven't worried about it. But I will take my old computer, and it will become my mirror backup. And then I will copy and put everything onto the new one. And then I'll have like 3 at home. I have 3 on my desk. I know I'm a crazy woman, but one's for streaming television, because I cannot do a job without listening to something. My dogs bark, I have to have noise. So that's one. And then my second one is the one for internet and everything. And then this is my work computer. So it's just sort of my own little craziness. I know I have 3 computers on my desk, but it works for me. Whatever works, right? And then I have my do not transcribe folder. So any job that is a do not transcribe, I think there are only maybe 2 in here, but I put those in here. And as we know, those are mostly Florida cases, right? Do not transcribe. Let's see, these are all my seminar stuff. That's pretty much it. I just try to keep everything organized. If I have a whole bunch of stuff, I don't have one on here, but if I have a lot of things, like maybe accounting stuff, records I'm trying to keep track of, I'll put them in a briefcase. Does everybody know how to make briefcases on your desktop? Everybody know that? Anybody not know? Briefcase? Okay, if you right click on your desktop, this is where you form your folders and everything. So you can go down and hit new, and go up to the top, you can create a folder, or you can go down here and you can create, let's see, where is it? Everything got, Windows 10 moved everything, I swear. Ah.
Zip, yeah, zip down
Yeah, there's zip. No, I don't want to zip, I want to,
there. Zip's the last one.
yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the briefcase. What happened to the briefcase in 10? Yeah, where'd it go? View. I wonder if they're not doing, that's just really weird. I just did an update last week and I wonder if it got rid of the briefcase.
Can you do a Windows search? Hit the Windows key and
Yeah.
or a Windows F
This whole thing,
and type in the name.
briefcase. I had some on my other computer. Oh, that's taking me to the internet. That's not what I'm looking for. What'd you say to hit? What'd you say to hit, James?
Well, you did what I was
Oh,
saying.
yeah, it took me to the internet search. Hold on, let me look over here. Sometimes my little thing over here doesn't. It did an update and it's weirded things out. It did an update 2 days ago.
Try Control F.
Let's see.
Control F.
It's not doing anything. Yeah, that Windows update just recently just did some weird stuff to this. I don't know what's going on with it. Well, used to you could right click, and when you hit new, I'm gonna have to look that up. But there, you could click on briefcase, and then you can slide everything into a big briefcase, and then you can move briefcase from computer to computer, which is really nice if you have a lot of files. On my other computer, I have briefcases, and I have like all of my 2017 and 2016 files. I usually keep them in a briefcase because that way I can transfer them back and forth. Because maybe I moved everything off, and maybe 2 years later I'm back on the same case that I took 2 years ago. I could go pull that dictionary back up if it's not in my new computer. Because usually when I get a new one, I don't pull all of those dictionaries in, because we have jillions of dictionaries because we're taking so many jobs. How do y'all organize your dictionaries? Do y'all do them by witness name? Do you do them by case? How are you doing your dictionaries?
Witness name or party name.
Okay, suggestion. If you want to have less dictionaries, always name your dictionary after your case. Because then you can go back in and keep using that dictionary every time you have a witness in that same case. Typically, on my dictionaries, I name them by the case, like Smith v. Jones will be my dictionary. And when I name my file, I name it after the witness. And then on my software, I'm assuming you'll have the same kind of deal. When you pull up in real time, you name your file. Then I have a place where I can name the name of the case. So I do my case name and my dictionary name the same. And so then when I pull up my software at the beginning, and I don't know if I've got anything in here because I haven't been doing that lately. Let's see if it'll let me. At the beginning of my software, which takes forever to come up with a new update, I swear, it drives me crazy. There we go. Then I can pull up my case right here. And I don't have anything in there. There we go, there's a few. So I can click on this and it'll show me the names of my witnesses underneath my case. So it's really easy for me to go back and find things. If I need to go back and look for a spelling or something, then I can see, oh, these were the witnesses from that case. And it's easy for me to go back and find. The other awesome thing, I'm assuming that all software does what I'm about to show you, but mine is so easy. ProCat is like Microsoft Word with Windows. Microsoft Word with audio. And one thing I can do too, and I'll show you how I organize this because I like to be organized. I look at my friend's file, and she's on ProCat also, and she had like 300 files. I was like, how do you find your files? And so this is something actually Karen Shady taught me because I trained her when I was a baby reporter. And I thought this was an awesome thing that she taught me to do. So in my files, get that to come up. It's very slow today. Okay, all of my include files start with a Z because it pulls them to the back away from my transcripts. So I have them, the way I have them defined to come up, they all start with the Z. But I also have every firm I work for, like for example, SLS Litigation, I have their blurb that has to pop in with their firm registration number and everything, and their address. That way I don't have to type that every time. That they have their own include file for everybody. This is also how I do my break, discussion off the record. They all have a Z in front of them, every single one of them. And it just moves everything to the back. It just makes it easier to find. And then I just name them like Z break, Z off-record discussion, Z whatever, exactly. Just Z left, that means somebody left the room. Z entered, somebody entered the room. Just easy names. Z exam, that's my examination by. ZF exams, that's my further examination. So everything just easy, so it's easy to find. And my please is also in here. Please slow down, you're talking too fast. Yeah, that's in here too. I think I have one, I'm trying to remember, let me look. I think I have one that says something else. Let's see, for real time. Let me see what it says. It's at the end. Speak up, I can't hear you. I have one that says speak up, I can't hear you. So, please speak up, I can't hear you, all caps. So those are the kind of things that I do just to make things easier. And I'll point to the screen if they're not paying attention. Because I've usually by that point already asked them twice. But this is sort of the way I organize everything. Then, if you'll notice, my regular TRP files, my text files, are just listed by the people's name. Okay? Then you see I have folders. So I still have all my 2016, 17, and 18 stuff in here. When I'm doing, like, let's say I'm doing a real-time job, and I'm sending to a scopus, I will name things by the witness name, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Every break, I send it to my scopus. I don't like that thing, and I know Catalyst has it where they can work behind you and be doing stuff. I'm not paranoid. I'm afraid something's going to happen to the file because they're working in it while I'm working in it. So, and I know they tell me not to be paranoid, but I'm still paranoid because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. So I name everything part 1, part 2, part 3. So when I send it, I know how to pull it back together, and it's very simple. But then when I do the job and I'm done with it and I'm going to turn it in, you notice I have a file called parts, 2018 parts. As I do the parts and merge them back in, I move the part file, part 1, over into that file to get everything out of the way so I don't accidentally pull it in again. You know, I'm done with part 1, now I'm done with part 2, now I'm done with part 3. It's just my own organization. I know it sounds difficult and I'm probably like making it harder than it has to be, but I like to be very organized in my files. At home, yeah, not so much, but here, yes.
How many pages are in each part of it?
It depends. I just do it by the break. If we take a break, that's part 1. Next break is part 2. Next break is part 3. I do it by the breaks. And then I send it while I went to the restroom. I hit send. Did you send this file? Send it to my scopist. When I get back, it should have gone through, and then I'm done.
So when you take a break, you're actually restarting a new file when the next session begins. Now, do you have a problem with that when you're hooked up with real time and you have the viewers out there?
No, because ProCats works extremely differently than I think everyone else's. Bridge may work the same, but the new way that their stuff works is they can be on any device. It could be an iPhone, anything, whatever it is, Android, whatever. And when they come in, I usually have them set up, but they can also pull up their phone if they want to. I have my own router that is connected to my computer. So typically, and you're going to laugh at this too, I carry 2 computers when I do real time because I don't want to turn off my regular computer. So I will send the jobs through send this file on another computer. So I back it off onto my SD card, pop it into the other one, let it be sending while I run into the restroom, and then that way I don't have to worry about going on real time on this computer and then remembering to go back to the other internet because this computer here is set up to my my router, and so I'm not using the internet on this computer. Because if I did that, every single break I'd have to go back and delete the internet access on this computer because I had to send it, right? And then I would have to pop it back over to the other internet, and it gets confusing. And the first couple times I did that, I forgot, and then they weren't getting my feed. I was like, I forgot to go back to the router and not the internet. So I started taking 2 computers. That way, if this one is set up on the internet, it's ready to go. I can just send and be done with it, and this one never has to change. And that way, they consistently get their feed.
So you don't have to restart the feed on each real
No. If you have your own router, you don't have to restart the feed. It makes life so much easier. Yeah, if you're trying to use the internet at the law firm you're at, sometimes it doesn't work either. It just, that's when I started doing the new stuff with ProCat. When they pull up their device, they put in a number. My software, when I plug into real-time and I'm plugged into that router, it's going to give me a number. It's like, 12 digits. And so anybody that walks in that wants to get the real-time feed, you put that number in there, and then it automatically just pops up. They don't have to download anything. They don't have to do anything in my particular software. And all they do is put the number in, and they start getting a feed. And then if I don't want them to have the feed, all I have to do is not give them the password. Because and then if you do give them the feed, what do? Make them sign. Here you go. Sign right here and be sure this, please, that you're getting the feed. Because that way you know they're going to pay for real time. Because I've had a few times when they're like, I didn't get real time. And I'm like, yes you did. That's when I started making them sign. Before, I trusted them. And then when they started messing with me on that, I'm like, I don't think so. Now, typically, if they're doing real time, I'll say something at the beginning. Okay, so-and-so's hooked up to real time, so-and-so's hooked up to real time. Everybody, y'all, you're cool with that? And I put it on the record. Because, better safe than sorry, right? But then I also have them initial the form. Just being organized and making sure that, they don't try to get out of it. And then I have all of my ref drafts. I keep those in a folder so I remember, because when I get a file, I do everything in rough draft mode. When I'm in a deposition, my page layout is in rough draft mode. That way I don't have to think about if they want a rough draft at the end. I can say, do you want it now? Because I'm usually trying to scroll through at the time. And I will say, do you have an SC slot on your computer, which most people now do, except if they're on an iPad or something, they may not. So I will put it on here and say, you want it now or you want me to send it to you later? And then if whatever, I'll give it to them then if they want it, or I'll send it to them on email when I get back. And then I will change, like right here, you'll see the name of this one. It says rough draft at the end. So if I send the rough draft, I copy the file, I do a save as, and I write the word rough draft behind it. That's a reminder to me to charge for a rough draft. Otherwise, I may forget. So that way I can look right here and go, oh yeah, I sent a rough draft of that file. And then once the job is done, I can move that rough draft over into my rough draft folder. That's just sort of a reminder for myself. And then I have all my beginning and end pages. You know, I think I'm a crazy woman, but I have beginning and end pages. This one was for 2018. These are any jobs I've taken that I've had more than 2 jobs with that particular case. I keep a beginning and end page here, so I don't have to go back and retype all that stuff in. I just cut and paste and copy them here. And I just give them the title of the case plus beginning pages or the word end pages. Waive or read and sign. And I put all that in here. Just to make it, it's a time saver. Just a time saver. And then all my regular beginning and end pages. These are my regulars. I have my county civil courts, all the pages that go with that. Title, read and sign, waive. I have my confidential booklet stuff wording that I put in those for when you have to pull out confidential. How many of y'all are actually having to do pull-outs of confidential stuff? Lately I have noticed, like if I do patent litigation, I ask them one day, I said, do y'all want this pulled out? And they go, oh, please don't. And I'm like, okay. I said, let's talk about this, how you want this done. I said, because there was 5 different confidentials in this one. They had super confidential, attorney's eyes only confidential. There was like 5 different ones. It was getting confusing. I said, so how do you want me to do this? They said, I said, this is my suggestion. I leave it in the index, and I put the 5 different confidentials, and under that I put where the pages start and stop. And I said, and I need y'all to say where it starts and where it ends, because I have no clue. And y'all got all those weird confidential things, so I need y'all to tell me every time when it begins and when it ends. and tell me what kind of confidential it is. And I didn't even pull it out. I just put it in the index, and I would put super confidential, and then I would put, like, say it started on page 5/23 for line 23, 2, 10, 1, page 12/53, whatever it was.
You treat a confidential portion of the transcript like you would a certification.
Kind of like.
And you publish it or deliver it.
I delivered that way, but in those situations, they only want it to go to they don't want it going to their paralegals or anything.
Yeah.
So what'll happen is when we send the transcript out electronically or whatever, up at the very top, it'll say confidential on the header. And make sure the firm puts the confidential up there, and then it goes to them, and then that lets them edit out, because like on one particular confidential, their paralegal could see it. Another confidential,
Deliver it to the custodial attorney in separate packages?
no, you deliver the whole thing, and then let them edit out what they want to edit out and send it to who they want to send it to. Then they can go in and do what they need to do to the transcript. And we send like an E-Tran also, and actually they wanted things in PDF form, and then they had that PDF program where they could go in and edit, and then what they did is just went out and blacked out the parts they didn't want certain people to see. And that way they said that way they had more control over the transcript, and so it only went to the attorneys, period. Didn't go to any paralegals, nobody. Went strictly to the 5 attorneys that were involved in that case. And then they did all the editing out of whatever and sent it to whoever they wanted to. And it took it off our shoulders.
And you give all that information to the firm that you're doing the business with?
Yes.
So they can direct their production department?
Yes. I put all that, I write it all down and put it on the form that they give me to turn in. And then I usually call and explain, and I say, this is very confusing, let me go over this with you. And then I explain to them how they wanted it done. And actually, I've been getting more and more of that. People don't want it pulled out. They want it left in the transcript and indexed, and then they want to have control over what they do with the transcript. I'm like, okay. And I actually haven't done a pull-out booklet in probably 2 years.
Yeah, I'm finding that too.
Yeah.
Attorneys are agreeing at the
Yeah,
tempo.
exactly.
We'll just keep it under one cover and do it
Yeah.
later. And that
It saves us time too from all that pulling out, and us trying to figure out where does it start and where does it end. You know, so it keeps us I always felt that was crazy because I don't know what you're wanting, and then I'd have to call somebody and go, I don't know where this ends. Y'all never said where this ends. And it got really confusing, and it was time consuming. And so we kind of discussed it. It was a patent case I was on, and I said, before we go on the record, let's talk about this, because they had told me they were going to have all these weird things. I was like, okay, let's discuss this before we even go on the record, and let's get it clear. And then one of you please say it on the records and have everyone agree to it. And that's the way we did it, and it worked great, and ever since then, I've been suggesting that we do that, and the attorneys have been, oh, that's a really good idea, then we have total control, and we know what goes where, and I'm like, okay. So I really haven't had any issues.
So in the transcript, you redact those pages. It's blacked out.
No, I don't do anything. I do the transcript just like normal. The only thing is I index the confidential portions in my index.
So they still have the words.
So they have everything's there, and then they go in and do their own redactions. And then that way they can say, okay, well, where it says like super confidential, they can go through and pull those things out with their PDF program, pull those things out, and then that one is going to paralegals or whatever.
What I was doing was just redacting and then having another
And a separate booklet.
with
Yes,
those things.
exactly.
So we don't
They
need.
have me not do, you need to ask your attorneys what they want to do with that. I always ask now, how do you want me to handle this? Do you want it in a separate booklet, or do you want me to just index it and then leave it up to you?
Have you had where one attorney says, no, we're not going to make it confidential?
I've had that before, but if one person asks for confidential, I make it confidential. Usually I say, y'all need to agree, discuss it. I don't make that decision. I'll just say, y'all need to agree, y'all just talk about it, come back and tell me what you're gonna do.
Learn the depot, they'll just say, oh, I want that, and she'll say no. And then
Yeah,
go on.
I stop the depot. No, I'll stop it and say, okay, no, we're gonna agree to this. Y'all need to talk about this, let's go off for a minute, and y'all tell me what you're gonna do. We're not gonna have this. Yeah. I make them agree.
I'm not talking about a federal case now. I'm talking about state.
Yeah, same thing.
Rule 203
Mm-hmm.
Sets out the rules and regulations for court reporters and firms dealing with signature
Yeah.
or a waiver of signature. What would you think about changing the language to whereby the original, which is the court's copy, goes into an envelope, a window envelope maybe, and the reporter signs it across the seal, across the flap, and forwards it to the custodial attorney, never to be opened until it goes to trial? What would you think about that language?
I don't know, because, they're getting, I don't know, what y'all think?
What's the purpose?
Well, and the purpose would be, they're already getting a copy of it anyway, so what would, I don't think I understand your question completely.
Well, in a signature example, the rules state that you've got to send it to the custodial attorney, the original of the custodial attorney, for signature,
Right.
which requires them to have access to it, including exhibits. You lose control of it.
Right.
You have no control over it when you release it. But you wouldn't mind it if you had to put it in an envelope, not to be opened, and send it to the custodial attorney that way. That way, the custodial attorney couldn't use the original to forward copies to the rest of the parties.
Oh, that makes sense. I get what you're saying.
Under 203C.
I get what you're saying. That makes sense.
So,
But they still.
it would take care of the copy, it would take.
They're still getting a copy anyway, though. They can still forward their copy. But that makes sense.
Yeah. See, that's what we're dealing with in Texas right now.
Right.
In front of the judicial branch. And that's something that we will be cementing in probably next month.
That makes sense. And I think the part of the reason I think for the not having all those redactions, I think is because when the person would go back to read and sign, they'd have to go pull the booklet up and do all this stuff. And by doing it the other way, they have a little bit more control. And the witness can read the whole thing just like it is without having to pull all these separate books.
Recognizes that a reporter gets in charge of those things,
Yeah.
but they remove the incentive to charge for it.
Right.
Because they give the custodial attorney the authority to give copies, or they take the original and tear them apart and make copies all in one.
Exactly.
So this would eliminate that.
Yeah, it's a thought.
Yeah.
It's a thought.
But how would that keep, I don't know how that would eliminate.
Because they're still getting electronic copies. So they're still getting their electronic copies so they can still forward that to somebody else.
And the attorneys who do what I always say, steal the read and sign, they're going to expect it from the other attorney anyway. So they're not going to, that attorney's not going to say, no, I have it in a sealed envelope, I'm not going to send it. They're
Right.
just go with normal course and forward it. I don't know whether that would help. I think it's a good idea, but I don't think that's going to help remedy the whole stealing
The
of
whole
read and
problem.
sign.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. So, okay, so these are all my files that I just keep in one. I have everything broken down as EUO, district court, everything. And then all my federal pages, everything is just broken down. Meetings, because I'm just anal and I don't want to think, I just want to fill in blanks. So all my pages, the way I have them set up is my beginning and end pages. My beginning pages have like an @ symbol and then like say attorney name, attorney address, and then I have databases in here that have all that information. And I have my end pages set up the same, so when I fill in one at the top, it feeds down into my end pages, so I don't have to keep filling things in over and over again. So hopefully y'all are doing that too, because it saves a ton of time. I had a friend who didn't know how to do that, and she's been typing all this in all this time, for like the last 5 years. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, use your databases. That's why they're there. They're great to use. It helps you get everything done. I couldn't survive without my databases. Okay, so that's just kind of that organization. Let me go out of there. And so when I finish a job, let me show you that because I didn't do that. In my software, when I finish a job, I have folders by month. So it's not necessarily when I took the job, it's when I finished it. So like right here, you'll see October, September, and October. I usually keep 2 open. If I need to go back and look at something, because maybe I took a job last month. So there's my September, there's my October. So when I finish a job, like if I finish one this week, it'll get moved into my October folder. so I know it's done. And that way, all of these keep just kind of coming off. And I can look here at any time. I can look here, or I can look on my desktop and see what jobs I've got out and know what I have to get finished. It just helps me kind of stay organized. Yes, ma'am.
You have recorder job sheets for each job.
I do.
Firm. Okay.
Those are, remember when I showed you that worksheet folder? They are under the worksheets.
You know what I do is I open my ASCII and then I flip back and forth and copy and paste the names of the attorney. For a while I was typing every reporter worksheet and I thought, wait a minute, I can cut and paste. Just flip them and, you know, their names. It's all right there on your appearance page.
Yeah, I mean, think of it. I usually just print my appearance page and attach
The
it.
appearance page.
I just print and attach. Yeah.
To the job card.
Did you hear what she was asking? She was like, she goes back and forth between the ASCII flipping for the, to fill in the job sheets for each firm. I was saying, I just like print out the appearance page and attach it. I don't fill all that stuff out.
That's what I do.
They're okay with doing
And
that?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't had any issues. Yeah, and I can tell you, I have one friend who, she works for a lot of firms too, and she got sick of all the paperwork, so she combined and she made one job sheet, one order form, and one exhibit index turn-in sheet based off of all the firms that she worked for, and she sent them and she put it on her rate sheet. She said, this will be the form I will be using from now on, period. And she fills out the one form because she said, I work for too many people. I'm not going to learn all this. It takes too much time. This is the way it's going to be done from now on, and that's what she does.
It is confusing.
It is, because everybody's is so different, and some of them are very confusing, and turn-in on some firms, like I don't even do their turn-in because they use the RB or they use this or they use that, and it's so confusing, and it never had the right information. You go to, plug it in, and you're going, this is wrong, and it wouldn't let you change it, and I got tired of dealing with it. I don't have time for that. I've got too much work to get out. So what I will usually do is I will send it in an email and say, your stuff is too messed up online, fix it. And I just send it, here you go. Please fill this in because I don't have time to deal. I'm working on another rush. And then let them handle it,
You should be given an Olympic gold medal to get through his flyers online.
I get some of them are so crazy. It's like you're going, you go through it and you're like, what? I don't understand what they're asking me for. And then there's no, like, if you had an extra witness show up, which has happened a few times, and they didn't know about the extra witness, it's not up there, and then it won't let you fill it in. They have to fill it in. It just got to be too much. I'm like, okay, yeah, enough's enough. I'm not doing this. So yeah, I just send it in. I send it in an email and say, here you go. Here's all the information you need. Take it from here. Thank you. And I always like, thank you. Y'all are awesome. Here you go.
Yeah.
Make them feel good, and they'll do it for you. So that's just. See, I keep, like, for example, let me see, here's Blue Ribbon. Compass, it's Compass now, sorry. So I have their paperwork, no I don't, because they send it to me every time, I forget. Let's see, who do I have that is...
Yeah, they usually send a report.
Yeah, they send it every time. And sometimes do that, and their folder may be empty, because they send it each and every time. But if somebody that doesn't, let me see, oh yeah, she doesn't, so let me do hers. Yeah, so I have her paperwork somewhere. No, I don't have hers either. She sends it. I'm trying to think of somebody who doesn't send it. Who doesn't send me their paperwork? Advantage, I think. Yeah, there we go. So I have her worksheets, I have her exhibit info, and her order form. And I just print it out each and every time. She sends me the notice, and I print this stuff out, and then I'm good to go. And I usually, just to be safe, in case I forget to print something out, one night, I always carry some generic ones with me, order forms. I carry generic order forms just in case I forget. Because or in case maybe you're running late that morning and you run out of ink and you can't print or something happens, and so I always carry generics just to be safe. That happened to me the other day. I was like, I don't have an ink, oh my God. So at least I have the stuff on my phone, and then I have the generics in my bag, and they can sign the generic. And then I always let them know, I'm so sorry, I had to use the generic because I ran out of ink. They don't care. As long as you get it signed, they're cool.
Firms that just let you say it on the record.
Yeah.
As long as they say on the record they want a copy, you don't even have to turn in a...
That's true. There's a lot of firms that do that too. They'll let you just ask them on the record, and if they say yes or whatever on the record, that's all they let you
We
do.
need a uniform, firm.
Yes, wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, it would be awesome to have that. Let's see, I've done that, we talked about that. All right, tracking your expenses. What do y'all do to track your expenses? A lot of mine are on this little job detail sheet, because parking, tolls, I write everything down here. But, you know, there may be like, maybe you took breakfast, or you took brownies, or I don't know who the heck has time for any of that, because I don't, but maybe some of y'all take food or something. You know, it seemed like every time I took something, it was left on the table, nobody ever ate anything. So I just stopped carrying it, because there were firms for a while that were demanding that you take brownies or cookies or whatever, and I'm like, I'm not taking that stuff because it's sitting on the table.
One guy would eat them all.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I always carry food. With me. I always carry almonds or crackers, something that you can grab quickly just in case, because you never know. And then how have y'all had this situation where they order for everyone in the room but you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that happen not too long ago. This was pretty funny. Y'all know I'm vocal by now, right? So this was pretty funny. So it was opposing counsel, his client, and then the counsel that hired us, and me and a videographer. Well, the guy hired for himself, his client, and opposing counsel. Who does that, right? Opposing counsel, and ignored the videographer and me. So he said, we're just going to take 30 minutes, and I said, nope. I grabbed my purse and I said, you the videographer will be back in an hour. And we left the room, and he comes chasing after us, no, and I go, nope. I said, next time you just learned a very valuable lesson. I said, you could have at least asked us, we could have paid for our own, but now we have to go out because y'all don't have anywhere in this building, and you didn't order for us. So we're gone, bye, we'll be back when we can.
You're just a piece of furniture.
I was like, you know, how rude is that? And we were going to be going till late. We already knew that. And I'm like, no, I'm not sitting here not eating all day. It's not happening.
I don't even do this all the time. The attorney goes on for about an hour and a half, and then he says, and ask the witness and everybody else in the room, except for me, the videographer.
Yeah.
We've been going about an hour and a half. Y'all need to take a break. We're like, no, let's just get it over with.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm like, well, I will need a break.
I just say, reporter needs to go to the bathroom. Bye. I just get up and leave.
Good for you.
Why are you giving them power? They do not have power over you. I'm sorry, they do not. They have no power. I just say, I'm sorry, you can't go back on record till I'm back. I'll be back in 5. And I went into the restroom.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and it's funny because before I hit 40, I used to just let them stomp all over me and go through without eating all day. I have such a headache at the end of the day. And I don't know what happened to me when I hit 40, but I suddenly said, this is for the birds. I am not doing this anymore. And then when I hit 50, it got worse. Now I really don't do it. I'm like, whatever.
Wait till you get to
You know?
60.
You know, I was in a job not long ago. There was probably about 6 attorneys. And I forgot what happened. But something was going on, and I won't tolerate a lot of just crap going on at the depot. And they were all talking. It was loud, and I couldn't hear. It was just a mess. And I'm like, stop it. And I didn't even realize, you know, you get to that point where you've had enough and you've been asking them, please, one time. And I didn't even realize, and I'm like, stop it! And everybody got deadly quiet. And I was like, I've had enough of this. I said, if you're going to make a record, let's make a record. If you don't, I can go. Y'all can do this on your own. And they're like, no, we want you to stay. And they said, you know, nobody's ever done that to us before. I'm glad you did that because now we'll have a clean record. And I'm like, thank you. You know, it's like, I think it's just, they're not trained anymore. And I actually took a poll. Because you'll know I'm vocal. Yeah, I told y'all that. I like to ask questions. And so when I'm in a deco with a bunch of attorneys and we have a break and people are chatting, I ask questions. So sometimes I'll say, you know, do y'all get trained anymore on how to take a deposition? I'm just curious. And I said, I'm taking a poll because I want to know. And so one attorney, was it younger and older attorneys in this case. And the younger one was like, you know, we don't get any training on that anymore. They don't do that anymore. We don't know how to work with y'all. And I said, obviously. And then the other guy said, you know, we used to have to read every deposition and read our notes and go back and they would give us notes. But they don't do that with the young people anymore, and they don't know how to take a deposition. And And I said, okay, in this circumstance, I said, I highly recommend that you young ones go back to your firms and say, y'all would really like to do some mocks with some real reporters so that we can come in and tell you what you're doing wrong. Because I do a lot with like Fulbright and Jaworski, Shikari, a lot of those firms where they go in and they do the mocks. And when I had my school, I took my students in, and I would also go in. But now I still do a few because some of the firms want this so badly, they will pay us to come in and do this. So I did this for Veritex one time. They had 5 reporters come in and they did these mocks all over. And I went in and did the mocks, and the attorney, the senior attorneys will tell them, you know, this is what you did wrong, this is what you did well, da da da. And then sometimes they would forget about us, and I go, wait a minute, I have things to say. And I would go, you did awesome on this, but you need to work on this. And remember when you did this? You need to let him finish his answer before you start talking, and you need to stop saying okay every 5 seconds, because that's the biggest thing. It drives me crazy. Okay. Right. You know. And I'm like, you need to take those words out of your vocabulary. And I would like go over that with them, and they were appreciative because nobody ever taught them any of that, and they didn't realize they were doing it. And I would flip my screen around and go, see this right here, look right here. Y'all said okay every single time, like 5 times during that answer. And they didn't even know. And when you bring it to their attention, everything is so much better. And then they're appreciative of it. You wouldn't think so, but they're there to learn. And I wish every law firm did that because I think it's helpful and it helps them make a better record. And I would love to be able to go into firms and do that because I would love that. I like to be bossy. Yeah. Sorry.
Reporters used to edit while they were taping.
Yeah.
When video came in, they had to quit it.
I edit when I'm going. I reach up and edit.
Joe and I went to law school once and gave them a talk on our role, and we knew that it helped, and we'd like to do that again.
I think it's great. You should. I know that Kim Tyndall goes around, and I think there's some other people doing it too, but Kim does that 101. It's like, I don't know what's doing it. But Kim does that 101. I actually did one with her. She did the Mexican American Bar Association. And she went in and did the talk, and then I did the real time. And it was kind of funny because we were in a restaurant. It was super loud. There was a kids' party behind us. Super loud. I couldn't hear her. She was next to me. I literally couldn't hear her. So I was going, yeah, what she said. I was just making jokey comments, you know. She's like, make it fun. I was like, okay. I was like, that's good because I can't hear what you're saying. So I was just writing things, you know, and then she would say something about whatever the history, and I would try to write what I think she was saying because I couldn't hear her. And I'd write, this is not true real time because I can't hear a word she's saying.
She said if you ever do one of those, it doesn't matter.
It was fun. It was fun. And they asked questions and responded to questions and gave them stories about, you know, attorneys. Like I had an attorney slap another attorney in a depot. Just crazy stuff that's happened. They're curious about those kinds of things. And I'm like, yeah, somebody didn't restrain themselves and slap another attorney, and I am not going to be a witness for you. Don't slap anyone, you know. So just all these crazy things that happen, and so it's kind of interesting to do those. And I think they forget that we're not a piece of furniture, that we have a skill. And when she presents that, she presents it as we have a skill, and you need to respect that skill. We're not a machine. And I like that because it kind of reinforces our position. I don't know, I've heard some of y'all say about you feel like you're a piece of furniture. Maybe it's because I am local that I don't really have that problem. Because if they come in and don't introduce themselves to me, I'm like, I'm Pam, here's my card, what's your name? And I've had people actually give me the wrong card. They'll give me a card and it's somebody else's card. They grabbed it out of their pocket. And maybe I know who they are, and I'm like, I don't really think this is you. Oh, yeah, that's me. I'm like, are you? And I read the card, they go, oh my God, I gave you the wrong card. So always watch for that, because that has happened to me many times. So I always, when they hand me a card, I go, oh, so you're so-and-so from so-and-so. Just to make sure they give me the right thing. And always ask them too, has anything changed? Has your address changed? Or your firm name? Because a lot of times they're giving you old cards, and their firm name has changed, and their address has changed, or their suite number has changed. I always say, is everything on this correct? If they don't have a card and I have it on the notice, I hand them the notice and say, please check this and make sure every single thing is correct. Add your phone number and your email, please.
Or they give you a card with 3 addresses. Because it's a large lot.
Yeah, which ones? Please circle which one that you're at. so I know where to send the transcript. Yeah, that kind of thing. So that's another organizational thing, just to be sure you got your organization done. Now, are any of you using any apps that you like? I'm going to tell you about a few I use. On my Android, this makes the best backup. It's so much better than even the videographers most of the time. I don't know why, but this is awesome. It's an app on here called Easy Voice Recorder. And it's so simple, you just hit play. And then you hit the check mark when you're done, and you're done. And it's super easy. It has a great sound. I can slow it down. It's awesome. And that's on Android. I'm sure there's different apps for different things. It doesn't cost me a dime. It's just called Easy Voice Recorder. And then my friend and I were in California last week for training, and we decided to just wing it on Monday night and find a place to stay. And we used a thing called, I think it was called Hotel Tonight. Yeah, Hotel Tonight. We compared with Hotel Tonight, Last Minute. There's another one called Last Minute Hotels. And then, of course, Hotels.com. So we compared all three, and Hotels.com was actually less, so we called them and booked it through them.
Is Hotel Tonight
Hotel
the
Tonight.
regular spelling?
Hotel Tonight. No, it's just normal. Hotel Tonight. Mm-hmm. Which one is that? The Easy Voice Recorder, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which one was the cheaper one? Hotels.com?
It ended up being Hotels.com, but it doesn't always work that way, because she uses Hotel Tonight a lot. The difference, Hotel Tonight, you have to call the day you're going somewhere. It's only for that night. And then you have to call again for the next day because the rates change. But like Hotels.com, it stays for however long. And I think Last Minute Hotels is the same way as Hotels.com.
And they compare rates at different hotels?
No, we compared, and then we compared all three apps to see which one was better. And then there's a thing called Find Lost Phone, in case you lose your phone. That's a good one. The Waze app, I'm sure most of you are using Waze to take you around the traffic. I use Skyscanner when I'm going to travel, because Skyscanner will do legs. Like if I have to lay over someplace, or there's like a one stop or something, it'll give me, like I may go from here to there on Southwest, and then it's cheaper to go from that location to where I'm going on American. I may save $200 that way. You know, Skyscanner does all the leg searches for you, so I use that a lot. A friend of mine told me about Receipt Hog. You can put all your parking receipts in there or whatever. It's just called Receipt Hog, and sometimes you get discounts for things. I've never used it.
Sorry, did you say Skyscanner?
Skyscanner. Mm-hmm. That's like a Google thing. Mm-hmm.
Do you get reimbursed for your travel when you do travel on the job?
Yes, I have in my on my rate sheet. I have down that I get reimbursed for, and I have this together. It says parking/tolls/Uber/cab. Because, you know, during the hurricane a lot, I was taking Uber because there's nowhere to park downtown. So I expected them to treat that just like it was parking. And in most cases for me, because of where I live, it's actually cheaper to Uber it than to park. Because some of those garages are $50. You know, and I can take an Uber and it may cost me $30 for the whole day. So it's cheaper for the client, easier for me, I don't have to find parking. So if I know that, know where I'm going, and know that they're not going to, so some places stamp your parking, and so it's free, but if I know they don't do that, and sometimes I'll call and ask, do y'all stamp parking? So I know ahead, and if they don't, I may take an Uber because it's cheaper and less hassle for me, especially if it's raining. There's a thing called CAM Scanner, which is great to scan exhibits into your phone. It's an app. CAM Scanner. It's all in there. CAM Scanner. And it's great if you have like a long exhibit, so you can like scan it with your phone. And so if you're going to send it to the office and you need it for something, you can scan it. Or if they're keeping it, because sometimes you know how they keep stuff and they don't want to give it to you, you can scan it on your phone. I do a lot of, if they're keeping any exhibits at all, I always take a picture of it. So I have it. And like last week, they had a whiteboard and they were doing a drawing on a whiteboard. So I took a picture of it and they wanted to mark it as an exhibit. So I said, I'll take a picture, I'll go home, print it, put a sticker on it.
Do you ask before you can?
Yes, I always ask, yeah. Because they were going to do something with it. I said, well, do you want me to take a picture, print it on my color printer, and put a sticker on it? And they were like, yes.
Yeah, but if there's just a document that they're not going to mark, I don't necessarily ask. And like if they go on lunch break, I'm going to take pictures.
Yeah.
But if they come in, I'll do it. Or
Sure.
Sometimes I'll ask, you know, hey, I'm going to take pictures of that.
Right.
If they're not going to.
Sometimes they do it themselves. They may want to take a picture of it and then send it to you, like whatever they want to do. But I've got mine too, so either way, you can do either way. See, there's also Retail Me Not is really great. I don't know if any of y'all have Retail Me Not, but you get discounts back, and that works for pretty much if you order from Amazon, you order from a lot of different places, you can get coupons on Retail Me Not and get like $10 off or whatever, depending on what it is. I have this awesome thing on my phone, which I totally love. You know how sometimes you see documents and you cannot read it? I don't know about you, but I can't. I have to hold it out here now. Okay, so I have a thing on my phone that actually came with my phone, but it is something you can download. It's called Magnifier. It is awesome because I was in that conference last weekend and I couldn't see the board. The writing was so tiny. So I hit my magnifier, pop it up, it's right there, I can read it. And you can also do that with exhibits. So if you have somebody who can't read an exhibit, nobody has a magnifier, and you say, do you need one? Here you go. And they can take my phone and put it down and it lets them adjust. It'll actually put a light on it if they need a light. And it's really cool. It's called Magnifier. It's great. It's a great app. That happens a lot. Okay, there's one called, let's see. There's also a last minute flights, which will find the best, cheapest rate for you if you have to take a last minute flight for a depot or something. You can get a rate on there. Oh, and you were asking me about, and also I tell them on my rate sheet it has any travel for a job. If I have to, typically, you know, I don't really, some people charge like to drive to a job. Like if I had to go to San Antonio, for example, a lot of people used to just pay mileage. Now firms are paying mileage plus travel time, both. You know, some firms balk at that and they don't want to do that. And I'm kind of an either or.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not going to like, you know, bust somebody for that, but I do expect them to pay for the hotel. And if I have to travel, typically, like, if somebody wants me, like, somebody wanted me in San Antonio next week, because I'm presenting next Saturday, and I said, okay, but I need, and it was the middle of the week, I'm like, okay, then you need to find me somebody who wants me Thursday and Friday, because I'm not just going to come up there, and then I have to pay for a hotel. Y'all need to figure it out and split the hotel, and I can come for the week, whatever. It ended up not working out, but last year I did a lot of that. I would go to San Antonio for a week. I'd work for 4 different people. Each person paid a different night at the hotel, and I stayed the whole week there and didn't have to come back and forth. And so you just have to negotiate those things. And then if somebody wants me to go for something for a day, I'll call around and say, or send out a mass email, anybody need me in San Antonio on these 2 days? I'm coming for a 1-day deposition, but you got to cover hotel. They don't have to pay mileage or anything because I'm already there. So they just have to cover the hotel. I try to be fair with that and work that out between them. Did you have a question? And then, let's see. The driver mode on your phone is very important. So we're not, like, if you don't want to answer and you're in traffic. I don't know if y'all have that on your phone where it's when you put it in driver mode, there's a little thing on there, and it'll answer, it'll say, I'm busy right now, I can't come to the phone. It's just like an automatic thing. DoorDash and Grubhub are a very integral part of my life because I do not have time to cook. So DoorDash and Grubhub, I love them. And Favor, I haven't used that. I know people who do. Favor will go get something for you. Like if your plug goes out or you forgot your phone charger and you're at a job, you can call Favor or Uber actually, and they'll go pick it up for you and bring it back, which is awesome. Yeah, I have a videographer friend who uses Favor all the time. If she runs out of tape, she just calls, I need to go here, this is what I need, she sends them a picture, they pick it up and bring it to her at the job. Yeah. There's also there's one that I use on here, it's got eye exercises, because I feel like sometimes you're staring at the screen so much, you know, sometimes I go blurry, because I'm staring at the screen so much, so I do those little eye exercises, tries to help me get back in focus. But sometimes
Show me some of the exercises.
If they're on here, it's like it'll have a split screen and it'll show you some different eye exercises. I have it on, I don't think, is it on this? Yeah, here's one. I have it on my computer too. It's called Eye Care Switcher. And this one, it just has like different exercises for you to do. See if it'll pop up.
Is it a prompt thing that you're looking at the screen?
Yeah, you're looking at the screen.
Oh, you don't just go like
no, there's like little dots. It's like follow the dots, do, you know, all these different little weird little things. Is it going to come out? Let's see.
I hope so. I'd like to see that.
You know, sometimes things just don't want to. This Windows 10 just did weird stuff to my computer. It's not wanting to pop up. Windows 10 probably stopped it. Come on. It just did an update like 2 days ago. Now it's not letting me in all my programs. Sucks. But it's called Eye Care Switcher, and it doesn't cost anything. It just lets you, it has little things like where you follow the dots with this eye, then you do this with this eye. It just kind of helps me get back into focus again.
Sure.
GoToMeeting is a really good thing to have on your phone, on your computer, in case you need it for a job. At the last minute, a couple of times, an attorney hasn't shown up, either because they forgot about it or whatever, and they wanted to attend by GoToMeeting, so I had it on here, and we were able to get everything up and rolling. Or they call in, and I let them use calling on my phone. Sometimes my phone is better than those phones that you have in the law firm. Sometimes you can't hear a thing. Mine is real loud and crisp, and so if we start going and it's all crackly and everything with their phone, I'll say, let's just switch phones real quick. Please call into this number, and I have them call my phone, and we do the job that way. Because this is like crystal clear, and some of those phones in those offices are so old that they're awful, and you can't hear a thing but crackling. I also have one on my phone called voice notes, so I can make notes to myself, like if they kept the exhibits. I write it on my paperwork, but my paperwork's got so much stuff on it by the end of the depo that I'm like, okay, it may get lost in translation. So I make myself voice notes, like on the such and such job on 10/18, so-and-so kept all the exhibits. Whatever the message is. Or don't forget to charge real time, or don't forget so-and-so came in late, whatever. I just make myself voice notes.
Is that an app?
It's an app. It's called voice notes. Mm-hmm.
Does it ding every so often to remind you that you left a note?
No, it does not. You have to remember to go check it. Yeah, it doesn't ding at you.
Okay.
That would be a good thing. That would be smart.
On the iPhone, you use the reminders.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can do that on the Android too. Reminders. Yeah.
To whatever.
My calendar does that. It dings at me and says, "Oh, you have this at this time." Yeah. I put my life is on here. My calendar has got all my jobs. If I lost this, I'd be in big trouble. And there's also a business card book.
You don't have a backup for that?
I don't. I know. I'm very bad. I don't have a backup for that. That's the one thing. Now I have to do that because now I'm going, oh my God, I don't have a backup for my calendar. I usually do still shots when for the week so that I have that just in case. But no, I don't have a backup. Business card book is a good one. You can scan people's business cards in using this. It's called business card book. Does anybody have anything that y'all use that you really like? Any kind of tracking programs or anything at all? Anybody? Do y'all use apps? Mm-hmm.
I don't even have a smartphone.
I don't
Neither
either.
Neither do I.
It took me forever to get one, but now that I have one, oh my gosh!
My mother has a smartphone. My 77-year-old.
That's funny. Once you get one, you will never look back.
That's what my nephew told me.
I thought I didn't use it, but oh my gosh, it's awesome. It's just so awesome because everything is right here.
I'm getting close. We'll talk about it.
It's amazing. You will love it. You will love it. It's a nice change.
I got an old dumb phone. That's
What
all
time
you
is
need.
We still have time, so let's talk about more stuff on here. So, what apps are y'all using? Anybody got anything you really like? Anything?
app, so you can just,
Say it again.
Starbucks app?
Oh, Starbucks. Yeah, that's important. Starbucks. I got the Chick-fil-A and the Smoothie King and yeah, those are important too. And Whataburger, you have to have those. That's important.
Love their pancakes.
Yeah, that's just Texas.
Yeah, do the mobile order for Starbucks.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait long.
So what other apps do y'all love and you couldn't live without?
Well, before I set my timers up on Catalyst, which I would highly recommend, I don't like change, but finally I did get it set up to timers. But before that, there's an app for doing the time because, I didn't always like to figure the time, so that was handy. But I also use a Scanner Pro. Like I take pictures and then it makes it a PDF.
Oh, what's it called? Scanner Pro?
Scanner Pro, yeah.
Is it all one word?
No, two.
Two, okay.
Yeah, and so it's similar to yours.
Okay, the CAN scanner?
Yeah, but I like yours because you said for big documents.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would even use the Scanner Pro, like if I wanted my Scopus to have that large document, I would just take a really good picture, turn it into a PDF. But I like that. I'm going to try the CAN one too. So.
Anybody else have something that you really like?
So are you saying we don't have to carry around a portable scanner to the deposition?
Oh no, you can do it on your phone.
If you have
With your smartphone. Yeah, with your smartphone. Yeah, smartphone. You will love it.
You're gonna have to bring a scanner.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I bring a scanner.
Try, you will love it. You will never look back, because I was very hesitant too. I love it. But you know, and I have a ton of apps on my phone, which I never, and Panera. We all must have Panera. That's important. But yeah, I use my calendar. My life is on my calendar. I even know what groceries I have to go buy when I get done. So everything is on my calendar. Like, do this today. This is at 3 o'clock. This is at 4. Everything's on here. I would be lost without it, because this is my life right here. This is my. We used to carry those. What were they called? Those planners. I used to have that.
Day timers.
Yeah, I used to have one of those, and I was like, why am I doing that? I have this right here. And so I started inputting everything on my calendar.
What's the name of that?
It's just, it's on your phone. I have a Droid, and there's on mine, there's a calendar right here. And there's a spot where you hit the plus symbol, and you add whatever it is. At whatever time you want to add it to.
What's the name of the app?
Mine's it's just a calendar. For the scanner, a CAM scanner. C-A-M scanner. CAM scanner. I think you have a choice. I haven't used it in a while. I can't remember if it's a JPEG or PDF. I think it may give you, some of these give you a choice that asks you how you want to save it.
Yeah, and on the first scanner, like if you take a picture, then you can turn it into a PDF. So you can either take the picture ahead of time and then later go back and upload it as a PDF, and then I'll send it right to Dropbox for you.
Right. Oh, another one, Hopper. I forgot about Hopper. Hopper is awesome. Hopper is like if you're looking for the best deal on airfare to go somewhere, you can tell it what airport you're leaving from and what airport you're going to, and ever so often it'll beep at you and say this is a really good rate right now, and it gives you kind of a it'll say like trending rate for that. It may say if you wait too long, it's going to go up this much. You should buy between now and this date, which is awesome.
I saved $700 on our trip up to New York
On Hopper?
this past summer from the summer before, just by using Hopper.
Hopper's awesome. Hopper's good.
Up to New York.
Oh, wow.
I saved $700.
And Groupon, don't forget Groupon. I hardly ever use that. I have GoToMeeting on my phone too, just in case for some reason my computer GoToMeeting doesn't work. I can pop it up on my phone.
I have Words.
You have Words? Words with Friends, is that what it's called? Words with Friends, a lot of people do that. Let's see, what else? You tell me now.
Poshmark.
So what again? Oh, Poshmark, yeah. I have Southwest. That's a good one to have too. And if you have your airlines on here, they will let you know like if your flight's late or your flight's delayed or stuck or your flight's canceled, whatever.
I've had like a rent-a-car, and you can actually turn in the car online.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I think each individual company will
Have their own.
tell you to go get their app, and it's like when I did VRBO, the vacation thing, it's just
Yeah.
all there. Then I delete the app if
That's awesome.
Yeah, turn in your car. Bing.
That's great. Then you don't have to mess with going through all the stuff. And some of the firms actually have their own app. I have Veritex on here. Veritex Anywhere. They have their own app, so you can go in and look from your phone for your job information in case like your printer didn't work that morning or something. You can look it up on here. And Yelp is very important. Have any of y'all ever used Yelp?
Heard of it.
Yelp gives just regular you and me, we can go in and make comments about a company or like a restaurant, and put if it's good or bad, give it 1 to 5 stars, and so you can go in and do a comparison to see if it's something that you like, if you want to try it out.
There's Google Pay where you
Google Pay, Samsung Pay,
hit them on.
yeah, all of those. Another good one to have on your phone is Zoom. Zoom is like GoToMeeting. So if you ever have a problem and somebody's GoToMeeting doesn't work, you can Zoom it. It's just another thing, just like it's for meetings or for depositions. I've used it for several depositions.
A lot of attorneys love that one.
Yeah, the Zoom. A lot of people love the Zoom. It's easy to use. And we have Vivino. It pairs your wine with whatever you're having. That's very important. That's really good because I know y'all talking about wine over here.
Oh, yeah.
So the Vino is a very good one. I think that's it. Let's see if I have any other ones. Sometimes I have Messenger. For those of you on Facebook, I know some people don't like that, but I have Messenger on here because sometimes maybe the scheduler has that too, and she needs to get a message to me quickly about something. So instead of texting me, she'll messenger me. I don't know why they do one versus the other, but sometimes they just do a messenger to me.
But don't you have to be Facebook friends to send a message? Well, I guess you really don't, but.
It'll ask you, if you're
Facebook, right?
if you're not, it'll ask you, do you want to add her? And you can click add, and then the message will come through.
But it's through Facebook.
Yeah, it's through Facebook. Yeah. Let's see what else I have. That's it. I don't think I have anything else. Yeah, that's all. So those are just some different things you can have besides music. Motown music is on my phone. But besides whatever, fun
So
stuff.
I do have a white noise for like in hotels, because I sleep with a purposely loud fan at home, and so I have a white noise app.
Oh, that's a good one. A white noise app. That's cool. That's a good idea.
It's called white noise.
White noise.
It's different, sounds.
That's cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do y'all edit that video so you can take that SHIT word?
I didn't even say that.
I said it about this, it was this morning.
Oh, I remember.
About registering online.
He'll, I don't know, he edits. What he does, he merges, is like, we're going to San Antonio next week, so he'll merge some of San Antonio with Houston, he'll merge different things together. I don't know how he does the editing, I have no clue. Girl, I probably said worse, I don't even know. Sometimes I don't know what comes out of my mouth. I go back and watch the video and go, did I say that?
I feel better already.
You never know.
For those that like podcasts, which I love to listen to, Stitcher is a really good one. You can have it automatically downloaded to your phone, so you can, if you don't want to use your data or something.
Now, what is Stitcher?
It's an app for podcasts.
STITCHER?
And there's just so many good ones, so many podcast producers now.
I never listen to podcasts.
Oh, I do. If I can't sleep at night, then...
Yeah. Oh, girl, I can sleep. My head hits the pillow, I'm gone.
I wish, but...
Me too.
On the road, I travel so much, I like to listen to podcasts instead of the radio.
That's cool.
I don't pay for Sirius.
Or, that audio thing. Who had me put that on here? What's it called? Audible. I have Audible for Samsung. I think Rob and Hopper told me about that. You can go on and buy books, and you can play it on your phone while you're traveling. That's a really good thing too. Audible, I forgot about that one.
Is the podcast music or talk radio?
It's like programs you can listen to.
Oh.
Katie Couric is an example. She has one.
Dr. Laura.
And then
Rush Limbaugh.
Well, I don't know about him, but
He does, for sure.
One is how I built this, and people, like how they started their company.
Right.
How I built this, things you should know. There's just tons of them, but very interesting. I remember Crime. Cereal is a good one for crime. Cereal. Yes, cereal.
Discovery ID.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Discovery ID. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Those can make you scared sometimes.
Yeah, yes. Did you see the one, the commercial in between watching a regular program? The girl goes to the refrigerator, opens it, and she turns like this, and there's a guy standing right there.
Oh my gosh.
And it is so scary. I turn it off. I thought it was a
It's just an advertisement for another show.
Yeah, exactly, and that scares me to death.
Is that Home Alone or something?
Yeah, Home Alone or something. They have all these different titles. Some of them, they repackage them. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
That's always the same cases.
Okay, so let's see. What can we talk about? I'm running out of material on that one.
Can we scan this to you real quick?
Scan it to me, please. I didn't do that. I know, right?
I documented everything.
Okay, let's do something. So turn in my pamphlet with all the pages. Let's do something fun. I want you to go to the steno crossword.
Let's get our tickle buttons on.
Steno crossword. Let's do it. Let's see if y'all get this. I tried to make it kind of simple, not too hard. But we don't know how I did. The crossword. Let's do the crossword first. We might actually do the scramble too. But let's do the crossword first. It's a little easier. Let's see how y'all do on this one. Hopefully I didn't make it, I don't think I made it hard. I think it's the last, no, it's right before the page that says the super organized reporter. It looks like that for the camera.
Identify for the record.
For the record, steno crossword. Let's see how y'all do on this one.
Found a mistake on number 17. It should
17, wait, where?
be Y-O-U-R-E instead of R-E.
Wait, where are you?
13 across.
He's proofreading.
Something attorneys always seem to ask for when you're backlog.
Yes, not
It should be Y-O-U-R-E.
What are you talking about?
When you are backlog. When you are backlog.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even catch that.
Walter, you're not supposed to.
It was 3 o'clock in the morning. Is everybody finished? Have y'all finished? Do you want to go over the answers? Everybody think you got everything? Anybody think you got the whole thing? Anybody? Anybody think you got the whole crossword? Let's go over the answers. Let me get my answers. Okay, so number 2 across. Who thinks they have the right answer for 2 across?
Firms.
2. Wait. How did this do this? Okay, 2. Yes, that's true. I gotta figure out how to do this part. Okay.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay. They have this number funky. Okay. Okay. What about 4? Someone who works in court. Correct. See, I need some of them easy. Okay. I have a need for speed. That's right.
Oh, speed.
Speed. Need for speed.
Wine in there.
Need for wine. That's a good one too. That's a given. 8. We've all gone something crazy.
Yeah, what?
What do y'all think?
Oh, stir. Somebody just said stir.
Does it work?
No, I don't know.
Try it.
S-T-I-R. Yeah.
No? What do y'all think it is?
I thought it was EFFS.
Anybody on Facebook? You'll know the answer to this question. Number 8. We've all gone blank crazy. Anybody? That shit, no? Anybody have any idea? If you're on Facebook, you'll know the answer to this quickly. Keto. K-E-T-O. Keto crazy.
What is keto?
So many people on that keto diet. Keto crazy. Keto crazy.
What's the term?
I don't get
Keto. K-E-T-O. It's a kind of a diet. A lot of people have gone nuts with that.
Did you hear Walter? He said, I haven't lost a pound on
Yeah.
Only for 90 days, haven't lost a pound.
Really? I couldn't do that one. It
It's
was,
like a high protein.
yeah. It gave me headaches too much. It gave me bad headaches. Number 14. We have to have 2.5 hours in Texas. Ethics. Yay. 15. Most famous reporting skit.
Carol Burnett.
Carol Burnett. Everybody got that one?
Dipple gone wild.
Dipple gone wild, right. 17. Something attorneys always seem to ask for when you're backlogged. And yes, I misspelled your. Thank you for pointing that out. When you're backlogged. What is that?
I hate that one.
Yes.
What's your favorite,
Pam's favorite place to take depositions? Not.
Exactly.
Take a wild stab at that one.
Right.
Home.
Favorite place?
not, what is that?
That means not my favorite place. I think you said it already. What was it? Prison. Yeah, prison.
Oh, I've done that.
I hate those. Prison. The last time I was there, they tossed my equipment up the stairs from guy to guy. I was like, are you seriously just gonna toss my stuff off? Yeah, they the person at the bottom of the stairs took my bag from me because I had to go upstairs, and I thought they were gonna take it up from me, right? He starts tossing it from guy to guy, and I go, stop! Don't toss my equipment. My writer was in there. I'm like, absolutely not. Do not toss my stuff. Hand it. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell? You know? Yeah, I was infuriated. I was like, never again.
We had a penitentiary down south of Jackson, Mississippi, where I used to work, and they told us anytime we went in there, because we went in there quite a bit, always wear high neck clothing and closed-toed shoes.
That's gross. And pants.
Oh yeah,
Always wear pants.
like high cut shirts and pants, and then closed-toed shoes.
Oh my gosh.
Number 19, something we all strive for as type A.
Perfection.
Did that fit?
Yes.
Yes, it did.
You're right. Just testing you. Okay, number 1 on the downside, short form of writing. Briefs. 3, our National Association. NCRA. Do you use blank on your keys?
What is it?
Do you use blank on your keys?
I thought it had.
That's what I was
But it doesn't fit.
It doesn't. I can't.
It is
LEA
leather pads. Good job, leather pads.
You have to the answer, and they're great.
Awesome.
I know.
I need to get some. The next one, know your.
Oh.
What do y'all think? Know your.
She said that.
What have we been talking about today?
Rules?
Whoa.
7.
What'd you just say?
Work.
Yes. Know your worth. Awesome. Know your worth. WORTH. Know your worth. 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 Number 9. Sometimes fast talkers make us right?
I put crash.
That's it. You should like that one.
It is. It's what Joe said. Shit.
That's on the video.
It's the only thing I could get to fit there, so I had to do it. Number 10, Guinness World Record holder. Kissling-Berry.
Oh. Well, you didn't say what kind of record holder.
I took a state test with him because he wanted certification.
Yeah.
Writing part, he said.
Oh, really? Wow.
That was a good thing or what? Control P.
Oh, my God.
He had zero errors. He had 0 errors.
Oh, my God.
What did
He's so awesome.
What did he send to you?
He just hit Control P, and when he retook the test, because he let his license lapse, he had to retake it, he just hit Control P and he was done. He was, yeah.
No edit.
Yeah, no edit. He didn't have to edit his transcript. His test. Number 11, company around 3 decades. Company around 3 decades.
What kind of company?
This all has to do with court reporting, people. Company, yes, Procat. So good, Procat, around 3 decades. Best seminars ever. Yay!
I don't,
Jeff Justice. Okay, next one. Pam's new machine. Expression. And there's no E at the beginning. It starts with an X. Expression. That's why you didn't think it fit. I did not. How to make you think a little bit. And the next one, well-known writer. And I mean machine. I should have put machine. Well-known writer / machine.
You were right.
Liminax. That was it.
are they good?
So how y'all do? I don't know. I have an expression. I like mine better. I heard some people, anybody here have a Liminax? Do you like yours?
Somebody back there does.
Do they like yours? I love my
Mine
expression.
stacks like crazy.
My old machine I bought in 2008 or 2009. And it was starting to stack really bad too. All right. Let's go to the page before that one. 2 pages, no, 1 page before that, where it says steno searchers. This one's hard. It looks like this. Steno searchers, the page before that crossroad.
Yeah, we still have 10 minutes.
And this has all about, this is all about court reporting in steno and all that. So let's just see how y'all do all these mixed up words. It's the page right before that, yeah, right before that one. Let's just do like the first, let's do the first 5. Let's see who can do the first 5.
Okay.
1 through 5. You ready? Let's do it. 1 through 5. Let's see how y'all do on this one.
Steno searchers?
Steno searchers. Anybody know what the first one is?
Speed.
Yay! What about number 2? Speed. First one is speed. Anybody know what the second one is? Yes! Simultaneous. Good job. Anybody know what the third one is? Prison. Yay! Number 4. Anybody? Yes! Oh, she's good at this.
What was it?
Headphones. Number 4 is headphones. Number 5. Come on, you can do it.
Accident.
Accident. She got it again. Somebody's winning over here. Number 6. Apps. APPS. It's apps. APPS. Number 7. ASCII. Yes. Number 8.
I'm waiting on
She's good, right?
I'm waiting
She's
on
good at these. Attorney, yay. Number 9.
I feel like I did this 3 years ago.
Brief it.
Brief it, yes.
Oh, you
Brief it. Number 10.
Nipoconia.
Nipoconia. I just scramble your brain for a few minutes. Number 10, a nose. Yes! And with that, we are taking a break. Woo!
Man, I had 3 of them.
It was captioning. Captioning.
Well, there you go, you're done. How easy was that? I hope you had a great time taking this program. Now you have a few more CEUs to add to your CEU bucket there. Now remember, if you're taking one of our longer courses, please wait until you finish all the seminars before you send us your answers. And please try to, if you're going to put them in an email, copy them in one straight vertical line, separated by the different course titles. And that makes it easy for me to grade, makes it go a lot faster, and I don't make any mistakes. Well, not so much. Okay. And also you can scan them in order and send them to me as well. Remember, we're always putting new content up here. Every year we will have at least 4 to 10 more hours worth of CEUs that you can get here from the comfort of your home. So if you know more court reporters that would like to get their credits that way, please let them know about it. And remember, your home for CEUs online, Jeff Justice Seminars, where you can get your CEUs online anytime.